next video that we're going to do is factoring by grouping. So when you are factoring by grouping, you can find terms that have something in common. Now, when we do regular factoring, it's the same thing. However, when you are factoring by grouping, you need 4 or more expressions that have a common binomial factor. So let's see what that means in simpler terms. So let's start with this example. 3x cubed minus 6x squared minus x plus 2. So when you're factoring by grouping, the whole key is in the word grouping. You want to form 2 groups. Because you have 4 terms, you can group the first 2 terms, and we'll do that in blue. You can group the first 2 terms like this, and then you can group the last 2 terms. Now make sure you keep this negative sign or plus sign, whatever's with this third term here, with the second set of grouping. So now you go back to what you know originally about factoring. You want to pull out the greatest common factor of this first term. So you see that they have a 3 in common. 3 can go into 3, and 3 can also go into 6. That is your greatest common factor. So if your greatest common factor here is 3, you also see that this has 3 x's and this has 2 x's. So you can pull out 3x squared, and remember, since you're pulling out, it goes on the outside of those parentheses as you've removed it or pulled it out by division. So 3 divided by 3 leaves us with nothing, or 1, but nothing in front of the 1, in front of the x. X cubed divided by x squared, you subtract the exponents, so you're left with just an x. Now you take the negative 6 and you divide by 3, which leaves us with negative 2. And then you have the x squared and the x squared that cancel out, so this one's done. This is one set of grouping that you have completed. The second set, well, what do they have in common? There's an x here, but there's no x here. And technically there's an invisible 1 here, like I said, that I don't normally write. But what can you pull out? Well, let's see. You can take this negative, you can take this negative out and kind of do that where it's a negative 1, because you have to divide by the negative 1 here so you can get this x to be positive. So if you pull negative 1 out, as I said, a negative divided by a negative is positive, and x divided by itself is just x. So now you have 2 divided by negative 1, which leaves us with negative 2. You will see here that this term right here, this new term, x minus 2, matches this x minus 2. So the way we rewrite our new problem, I'm going to do this in purple, or not our new problem, but our new answer, is you take this term right here and this term right here, the terms that you pulled out, and you write it in parentheses below. 3x squared minus 1. And then, since these 2 terms are alike, you only need one of them, and you just rewrite one of them down here like this. Now that we have our answer, let's go back and do a check. Let's go back and check and see if this becomes what we originally had up here. Same applies, same application that applies as the distributive property. Now this is something else that we're going to learn in the next video, but it's called foiling. And FOIL is your first, outer, inner, and last terms. First, outer, inner, and last. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to provide you this original answer. First, outer, inner, last. The way we do that is through that distributive property. You're going to take 3x squared and multiply it by x. So now you get 3x cubed. That's your first term. first terms, the first one here and the first one here. Now you're going to take your outer terms, which is 3x squared and negative 2. Outer. So negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. And you have your x squared. Now you do your inner terms. This is on the inside and this is on the inside. Negative 1 times x. This is your I term. Like I said, inner. So you get minus x. And our last is what you still need to multiply. So you're going to take the last ones, meaning what you have not multiplied yet. You're going to take this negative 1 and you're going to multiply it by this negative 2. This is an L. Negative 1 times negative 2 yields positive 2. And if we check, we can see that this answer matches our original answer. And the next video we're going to do is factoring trinomials. And I look forward to seeing you in that one.